This is the first we're actually seeing anything from it. And this game is absolutely totally nuts. So they gave us a gameplay trailer, and when we say they gave us a gameplay trailer, we mean it. This is not a narrative trailer. It doesn't explain anything, but you completely get what the game is from it, which is cool. Honestly, I haven't seen a game developer really let the gameplay speak for itself to this extent in quite a while. And aside from the body horror stuff, which, I mean, that is a divisive genre of visual, kind of take it or leave it. A lot of survival horror people like it, a lot of other people don't. But the gameplay is actually pretty interesting looking. You're an entity that kind of possesses people. It's called a Hyoki. You have no memories and only one purpose to exist, and that is to, well, slitter heads, monsters that are disguised as humans. Honestly, it looks absolutely insane. I get the basic premise, but I have a feeling it's going to go a lot further. It's going to land on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC on November 8th, and I think it looks like a pretty sweet game. Gorgeous, really cool combination of kind of what looks like a Ninja Gaiden with a Souls-like. Like, it's definitely got the speed of a Ninja Gaiden, but watching the combat, you just pick up the little Souls things. But it is a very strikingly unique visual style. I really like what Phantom Blade Zero looks like, and it apparently has its roots in a 13-year-old Chinese-only RPG Maker game called Rainblood that they're calling this a spiritual rebirth of, which I don't know exactly what that means. I've never played Rainblood. I'm not Chinese. The suspicions can be put to rest. I can confirm I am not Chinese. This is the first time we're seeing real gameplay from this game, and it is slick. Honestly, like, we've seen tons of striking imagery from it, but this is good looking stuff. I really want to play this game. It makes me want to know everything about their little RPG Maker game from over a decade ago. A sequel. I don't know if you remember No More Room in Hell. It was kind of a Left 4 Dead-like. Started out as a mod for Source Engine, and they're doing some interesting stuff with this one. So it's going to be 8-player co-op. You can definitely see the Left 4 Dead elements that are retained here, but it's going to actually play out like an extraction shooter. It does look a little bit like they want to go survival horror route a little bit too. The original oriented itself a little bit less towards combat than Left 4 Dead. Not that you didn't, get into zombie horde fights, but you could sometimes avoid it, and that would be better. It looks like they're going a little bit further in that direction, again, without losing the Left 4 Dead type genre influence, but they're trying to implement some inventory management stuff that I like. I like that idea in this genre. It looks like they're trying to build on the original game and kind of incorporate stuff from a fairly wide array of influences. Once Human, which the developers describe as a supernatural multiplayer open world survival game. And looking at the trailer, they've done a lot to make this not look like a standard. I mean, you know what a survival game is at this point, and this doesn't look anything like that. I'm sure it will play a lot like those things, but the world that they've built here is very interesting. Humanity built these beacons that summoned something called Stardust to the Earth, which essentially made everything go absolutely nuts. Kind of reminds me of Annihilation, but like the entire world is like it now, and it's a survival game in that situation. I like it. I don't know exactly to what extent there's a story, but it appears there is one. There has been a closed beta of this game. There are some reports of the gameplay. There's a sanity meter, for instance, but we now know that the game is landing July 9th on Steam and Epic Games Store. I mean, I don't really know what to make of it. It looks like a pretty good game. It's very much got the Lego Movie look to it, which is nice because that's the good Lego look. Sometimes you get games that lean close to that. Sometimes you get games that lean away from it. Probably the most notable aspect of it, though, is that it is coming to the Nintendo Switch, which is, some quality trolling on Sony's part. Microsoft having to consider putting their games on PS5 because it's more successful, and Nintendo is like, yeah, we could put our game on any platform we want, including the Switch, because it's a Sony IP, guys. But that's also a source of kind of like a question for me, like, what is this? Normally Lego games are like stuff that is enjoyed by the whole family. Big movies, franchises, cartoons, Star Wars, DC, Disney stuff. Horizon seems like an odd choice. That said, it is a choice that I think lends itself quite well. The dinosaurs look cool as hell as Legos. It's something that looks to me like it's probably going to be a good game, but we got an announcement, and it's now. It's available now. I am absolutely 100% excited for Night Springs. As you recall, I really liked Alan Wake 2, and playing as Jesse Faden in an Alan Wake scenario. Yeah, the protagonist from Control. Control, easily my favorite Remedy game, and that's a tough order to fill because they're easily one of my favorite developers. But we get an episode as Rose, which looks hilarious. Her ongoing narration to me sounds like it's going to be an absolute riot, and I would love to see things from her perspective as somebody who is a little off. And then also Tim Breaker, who seems like he may be breaking some quantums during the course of this story. This is something I really am excited to play. It is absolutely what I am doing today, period. It's available anywhere you can get Alan Wake 2, so if you're interested, I would say head in that direction. VR Batman Arkham game, not developed by Rocksteady, and weirdly enough, it looks pretty interesting. I think if you had told me that this was going to be something before we got Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights, I would have been like, I don't know about that. But I think we had to be shown just how bland it can be in not VR and have it handed to a developer that has some experience with some pretty good VR stuff. The developer Camouflage previously did the Iron Man VR, and that's actually a pretty good VR game. A lot of these franchises you would think would immediately lend themselves to VR. They're kind of power fantasies, and that's something that VR should excel at. But honestly, it seems like it's a little harder to grasp. And in all honesty, it seems like a lot of missed opportunities with superhero stuff on VR other than the Iron Man game. So I'm pretty happy, honestly, to see Camouflage taking the reins on this one. I think they could possibly do a pretty good job. That, and it looks kind of like Arkham-ish. Plus, is there no Quidditch in Hogwarts Legends has finally been revealed. It's because there was going to be a Quidditch game. I feel like I said something like that was possible at some point, but I can't verify that. Honestly, it looks like it could be a lot of fun. It could be single player, it can be multiplayer. It's got a bit of a Fortnite-y looking aesthetic, and I don't mind that because it's purely a Quidditch game. Having visually distinct characters and objectives is definitely a plus when you got a fast-moving game like Quidditch. Honestly, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan, but I did actually really like Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup, the 2003 game for the PS2, which actually doesn't look entirely unlike this game. Obviously, Fortnite wasn't a thing, but also the visuals really aren't that big of a jump in terms of style. I don't know. I think this is going to be fun. Probably a good game to play with the family or the kids, or, you know, if you just like Harry Potter. It's coming to the PlayStation, the Xbox Series is immediately by including an orchestral Pixies Where Is My Mind for the trailer. I can pick that song out in pretty much any arrangement after 4 notes. And it's an interesting looking game. I haven't really played a whole lot of Amazon's New World. It is, I guess, a new version of that. Part expansion, part it's the first version of the game that will be on consoles. New World was a pretty big hit when it came out. It's been kind of quiet lately, though. And honestly, I think it's going to be an interesting thing to see if they kind of turn it into a thing again with this. Because I think expanding to other platforms is a very good idea, and it could potentially bring in a much larger number of concurrent players, which would, of course, help the game pretty significantly. I mean, it's kind of a boss battles or a PvP type game. I don't, like I said, have a ton of experience with it. I've played it a little. It's fun. And Eternum is coming to PS5, Xbox Series, and, of course, Steam on October 15th. If you already have New since Civilization 6, which still blows my mind. I remember it like it's recent, and I think a lot of that can probably be attributed to the fact that a lot of people played Civilization 6 and then moved back to Civilization 5, and then back to Civilization 6 as they continued to update the game. Like, it is a game that definitely got better through the years, and they announced Civilization 7. It's not going to be a fundamentally different game. You know what Civilization is. It's a 4X game. You build a civilization. It involves both diplomacy and military might. Basically plays out as an RTS and a city builder. Now, we didn't really get a lot of information on Civilization 7, other than we know it's coming in 2025, and they're going to showcase the gameplay in August, but we know for sure it's coming, and if you like Civilization